Good morning. I hope everybody's had a great weekend. We just got back from youth convention. Alabama Youth Ministries is where it's at. Oh, what a great weekend we had. Been trying to process ever since we left and since we've got back, even up through right now at this moment, been processing everything that happened, that God did, spoke through my heart, spoke through my life, and then the lives of the kids that we brought and my husband as well, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. But typed out some things, and then I was like, oh, so much to say to type it out, and I don't know how many is going to really listen to this and who even really cares, but I just felt like I should do this. So whoever's listening, kudos to you. My kids will look at it and say, Miss Nicole, or ain't but one person online right now watching you, or this or that and the other, and I'm like, sooner or later somebody might want to read it or hear it or listen to it. So here it goes. We left Friday morning, and mind you, I've been taking these trips probably for about 25 years, close to it. And yes, there have been times we've been stranded by the interstate, and there have been times we've, had this to happen or that happen, issues to come up, and but the Lord has really been good to me and has blessed me throughout all the trips we take with teenagers throughout the years. And there's 2 or 3 that we take every year. And it has been a very blessed season for myself. The Lord has really looked out for me every time. I remember Pastor Greg Kelly used to be the DYD for us, and he would pray for God's protection, provision, and power, I think it was. I hope I got those right. But protection is definitely one he has done for us throughout the years. And this past weekend is no different. And we have a 1999 Dodge Ram 3500 wagon, they call it. It's the van. And it was one that the Lord blessed us with. We were able to get a good price on it, paid for it because it's a 99. But hey, it gets kids to and from where we need to go. But we haven't used it a lot since COVID hit, and it kind of been sitting at the church. And so Roy and I go out there and we check it out at Cranks. We took it to a local place here in town to check it out. I told them that one of the tires was a little low on air and to please check out the tires. They said everything was fine. It looked fine. I said, because I've got a group of kids. They said, you're good to go. I'm like, all right. So we get to, the youth convention is up in Huntsville, and we get to almost the Hartselle exit. And we're about 20 minutes from our hotel, basically, from where the Google map thing was reading. And I heard a pop, because I'm driving the van, Roy's driving the car. And I heard a pop, and I looked at the kids that were up front with me. I'm like, what was that? And we're looking in our mirrors. We don't see anything. Don't really feel anything at this point. And all of a sudden, about 2 minutes later, we started feeling where the tire had popped. So I get over, the Lord just cleared the traffic for us to be able to get over to the right side and get off of the thing. And you could just smell it from where it was burning. And of course we had the flat tire. So let me back up and say, Roy has not gone on a trip with us in, oh my gosh, probably 10, 15 years. I remember one time he went to youth camp with us, and that was like way long ago. The kids that were on that trip are married now with kids who have graduated high school, but we are not old. Just let me say that. We just started young. So it had been a long time, and he knows I need help, and what I do or what we do is totally different from anybody else, and that's okay. I'm learning to be comfortable in my own skin and what God has called me to do. But having said that, I really was so happy he was going, but nervous too, because he hasn't gone on these trips with me in a long time. And when you take a group of 20-something teenagers somewhere, you're in for a treat, right? So anyway, but thank God he was with us, and he helped well, he did it all. He got up under the van, and I'll post pictures in a minute after I post this. And sure enough, he's under the van, changing the tire. Did not want anybody on the side of the road. He was very adamant about it, and very stern about it. Even with me, he wouldn't let no one help him because it was on the left side. So all the traffic's just flying by, big semis, trucks, everybody's just whipping right by. And if they would have swerved at any point, whoever was standing right there was gone. And so that's what he was very adamant. We kept the kids on the grass. So parents, if you're watching, we kept them away from the road. In fact, I got yelled at a couple of times. Nicole, get back. I don't need your help. I got this. Because I felt bad. He's, down on the ground and doing all this. And we couldn't really get any help. Couldn't find like a wrecker service or something in time enough. So anyway, long story short, there was a spare tire under the van. We're like, yes, thank you, God. Because I wasn't even sure. Honestly, I was shocked there was a tire under there. But we pulled it off, and it was dusty and dirty because maybe it's been there since the origination of the van. I don't know. But anyway, that tire has been there a long time. But we figured it out and got it on, and we got on our way and we got to the hotel. We're able to attend all the services. Everything looked fine. And so we come home Saturday afternoon, and we get on the road. Sure enough, around the Hartselle exit. Don't know what it is about the Hartselle exit, but we were right there, and I started feeling it, shaking pretty bad. And I just didn't know if it was me having like a nervous reaction to, not reaction, but being nervous because I knew the tire had blown on the way up there, and I knew we had a spare tire, if you want to call it that, on there. But even the girl that was young lady sitting up front with me, and the young fella behind me that were kind of helping me, they were like, Miss Nicole, that's shaking pretty bad. So I called Roy. I'm like, hey, let's just pull off at this exit. And it was actually the same exit that after we got the tire fixed the first time that we stopped to use the bathroom and get drinks and stuff. So we pulled up in there and put air in the tire. We made sure it was full. And we get back out on the road, and we're like, okay, this is driving better. It's still a little bouncy, but we're making it. So I'm driving careful, both hands on the wheel. I'm really engaged. And I'm not even going 70, even though it was on the interstate, because I don't know, something in me, it was the Holy Spirit, I know, was guiding us. And Roy got behind us at this point, and he's like, Nicole, that tire don't look right. We've got to change it. I know, we're trying to get home, but we need to stop. And so there was a Love truck stop right, we could see it, like it was in view for the next exit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make it to this Love truck stop. Well, that tire had other plans. It pops, sure enough, and thank the Lord, very safely, we got off the side of the road. And again, the tires on the side of the interstate right there. And it couldn't be on the grassy side, of course. So it's right there, same one. And so we're sitting there, and we're like, what do we do? I don't know. What you want to do? I don't know. And so Roy went on, because we had my car. He was driving it because I talked him into letting me drive the van because, again, his first trip in a long time. And I'm used to being on the van with the loudness and stuff. So, but he said he would have done it. But I was trying to make it as easy as possible on him because I was just happy to have him and with us. And so he drove my car on down to the next stop, went to the Love truck stop, and he got some names and numbers of who to call. But we called our brother Jesse Ivy. Shout out to you for helping us out. And so he got on the phone and got some, was going to get a person to come help us, a company. Well, all of a sudden, this red pickup truck pulls up and backs up to where we are. And he comes to my window and says, hey, ma'am, what's going on? I said, well, had a flat tire, but my husband's behind me. He's on the phone with someone. He knows more of what he's got done. I'm just sitting here waiting because he don't want me to get out to get hit. So I'm waiting for him to come tell me what to do. And so he went and talked with him. Long story short, Roy leaves with this man. Didn't know who he was. He leaves with him to go get a tire, and he's going to help us fix it because he works at a tire shop. Imagine that. And so in the process, while we're waiting for them, I'm shuttling kids with my car that has the small Utah trailer attached to it because we thought it'd be, it would be less gas if the car pulled it instead of the van. And so I'm packing my car to go to the next exit to drop the kids off at the Love truck stop that had a Subway and a McDonald's, which we needed to have dinner anyway. So perfect. The Lord looked out for us. And so I'm shuttling them there. And finally, by the time I got them all shuttled there, and I ordered Roy and I a sub sandwich, he called and said, hey, we're on our way back. And so I went and met him there because I had to give him the keys and some money to pay the guy. And we get there, and then as soon as we, get the tire fixed, I think it was maybe a 2-hour situation. I don't know. I wasn't keeping up with the time. I was just like, Lord, we're just, whatever time it takes, it takes. We're all safe, and that's what matters. And so we get to the truck stop to go pick the kids up. And before we go in, Roy looks at me and with tears in his eyes, he's like, that dude almost made me cry, or he did make me cry. And I said, what? And he said, right before he left, he looked at me and said, can you do me a favor? And Roy's like, sure, man, anything. What? You know, what's up? And he said, will you pray for my daughter? And long story short, she's 13 and just like diagnosed with I think it was a tumor, and it is cancerous, and they are going to have surgery to figure out what stage it's in and what's going on with it and further details. And so he's like, man, I just need y'all to pray for my daughter. And so, you know, Roy looked at me and said, you know, maybe God allowed all this to happen so that we could meet this man and us pray for his daughter. So everyone out there, please pray for this man's daughter. I don't know her name. I don't know his name, but God does. Man in the little red pickup truck is what you can pray for, his daughter. So God works all things out for our good. Like, that was a major sticking point for Roy and myself. And, you know, when you're called to a ministry, you know, sometimes you feel like it's just you, and you feel like it's not I don't want to call it a burden. I don't know how to explain it, but like, you feel like it's your thing and you don't want to impose that on your family or your husband or others, because you feel like it's what you're supposed to do and you don't want to bother someone else with it. But even though Roy and I are married and what we do together, you know, that's been a hard concept for me, because I don't want to inconvenience anyone. But to see God move in his heart and mine through that, it was really cool. And so there was some issues. We had, you know, other things to happen when you have kids and you go off on trips. You have drama and you have stuff. And again, it wasn't drama within our own group. It was with some other things. And, but the Lord's working those out as well. And, you know, even in those moments, you feel like, what am I doing? You know, why we're going through all of this. It took Roy and I all day yesterday to recuperate. Not because we're old, just because, you know. But it has brought us closer. My husband really stepped up. And it was cool to have him with us. But it's even cooler to serve a God who turns all things together for his good, you know, and we sit back and we process and we think about, wow, did that just happen? You know, wow, whoa. One of those God moments. And we've had several this past weekend, but that was a major one. I'm just thankful for God's protection. Thank you to all who help give and support, who send these kids on the trip with us, who help us make it happen. There was several of you there at youth convention, a couple of you ladies who are good friends of mine, that you stepped up and helped me, just encouraging me and helping me out of a situation, checking on me, and I appreciate it. Means more than you know. Ministry can be lonely and it can be hard, but it can also be amazing and exciting and incredible. And when you have students texting you even last night and calling you, hey, God really did something in my life this weekend, or hey, God is really this or that. And, you know, for them to see where they went wrong in a situation and go, okay, where can I be better? And apologizing to me for things and truly meaning it, because they do it on their own, you know. It's a really cool sight to see. And if only one had their life changed and will go to heaven instead of hell, it was worth it. It was worth every bit of the turmoil or the problems, the money. I hadn't even figured it up what all it costs yet, but I don't know that I want to. But it's okay, because I know God will provide, because that's the way he is. But I love you guys, and thanks for listening.